My name is Joshua Mugabi. I welcome you to Inheritance and Evolution, Learning Outcome C. Apply Mendelian principle to predict inheritance patterns and utilize mathematical models to analyze allele frequency and genotype distribution within populations. Learning activity C. In pairs, learners search for a Hardy Weinberg principle, the factors that upset genetic equilibrium. Make a write-up and present their finding to the class. We are on Hardy Weinberg principle. We shall emphasize the village of Kasinga, tracking an inherited trait. Item 1. Kasinga is a village where a recessive genetic condition, albinism, small a, occurs. A team of biology students want to estimate the frequency of carriers, capital A, small a, in the population without genetic testing. They collect data and find that 4% of the population expresses the recessive trait. Task: calculate gene and genotype frequencies using the Hardy Weinberg principle. 1. Use the given information to determine the frequency of allele small a, the frequency of allele capital A, the percentage of carriers capital A small a, and the percentage of the normal homozygotes capital A capital A. Calculate the gene and genotype frequency using Hardy Weinberg principle. Use the given information to determine the frequency of allele A. Using Hardy Weinberg, recessive genotype is represented by 2 squared, which is equivalent to 0.04. Therefore, the allele frequency for A, which is 2, is equal to 0.2. Let us now find the frequency of allele capital A. Using Hardy Weinberg, allele A frequency is given by P, which is 1 minus 2, which is equal to 0.8. Let's find the percentage of carrier, that is capital A, small a. The genotype frequencies. Carrier, which is capital A, small a, which is represented by 2p2, is given by 2 times 0.8 times 0.2, which gives us 0.32. But the percentage will go to 32%. Therefore, about 32% of the people are silent carriers. Let's look at the percentage of the normal homozygotes. Genotype frequencies. Capital A, the homozygotes, is represented by P squared, which is 0.64, giving a percentage of 64%. About 64% of the people are normal. Let's now look at the teacher's challenge. Is the population in equilibrium? Item 2. A biology teacher gives students data on a population of 1,000 goats. What color is controlled by a gene with a dominant allele B, capital B, black coat, and a recessive allele, small b, brown coat? Students observe 160 brown goats, small b, 840 black goats. Task: determine whether this population meets Hardy Weinberg's condition. Calculate allele frequencies, expected versus observed genotype frequencies, whether the population is in equilibrium. Calculate allele frequencies. Observed, small b, 160 divided by 1,000. This gives us 0.16. This represents Q, the recessive condition, Q squared. Therefore, Q will be 0.4 and P will be 0.6. Let's calculate the expected versus observed genotype frequency. Expected Hardy Weinberg frequency. P squared, which is capital B, is 0.36, giving us 360 goats. The heterozygotes is represented by 2P2, capital B, small b, which is 0.48, giving us 480 goats. Q squared, these are the brown goats, capital B, small b, giving us 0.16, which is equivalent to 160 goats. Observed. Capital B plus capital B, small b, this one represents the black goats, is equal to 840. These are not separated, the black goats, giving us that cannot match exactly, but the total black goats is equivalent to 840 versus the expected, which is 360 plus 480, which gives us 840. whether the population is in equilibrium. The data fits predictions. Population is likely in genetic equilibrium. Still on Hardy Weinberg Principle, let us look at why did the albino frequency suddenly rise. Item 3. Scientists revisited Kasinga village 15 years later and discovered that albinism frequency increased from 4% to 9%. Task: suggest factors that may have upset Hardy Weinberg's equilibrium. Possible factors: non-random mating. This means that people may prefer partners from within families, increasing recessive traits. Genetic drift. A small population size amplifies the frequency of rare alleles. Migration. New individual may add recessive alleles. Mutation. Increased mutation rate in the melanin pathway. Selection. If albino individuals receive special care and support, survival improves. In conclusion, any of the above factor could disrupt equilibrium by altering allele frequencies. Now let us look at simulation activity using beans or beads. Item 4. A teacher wants a student to physically model Hardy Weinberg conditions using different colored beans. Task: using beans, white to represent capital A, red to represent small a. Simulate a population in equilibrium. Steps: mix equal number of white and red beans in a container. Randomly draw pairs to represent mating. Return beans after each draw. Count genotype frequencies after 50 draws. Repeat with non-random selection. For example, choosing more red beans intentionally. First trial, random mating. Genotype frequencies remain stable over multiple rounds. Trial 2. This is a biased selection. When more red beans, small a, are chosen intentionally, Q increases and equilibrium is lost. This demonstrates that random mating is essential to maintain Hardy Weinberg equilibrium. Let's now look at the island of Mutanda founder effect. We are still in Hardy Weinberg Principle. Item 5. A group of 20 people relocate to an isolated island. One person carries a rare recessive allele for a blood disorder. Task: explain how founder effect alters Hardy Weinberg assumptions. Because of new population begins with a non-representative gene pool, allele frequencies can shift dramatically. In smaller populations, genetic drift is intense. Rare alleles can quickly become common. Hardy Weinberg equilibrium does not apply. This explains why isolated communities often show high frequencies of specific inherited conditions. Let us now look at determining which forces disrupt genetic equilibrium. Still on Hardy Weinberg Principle. Item 6. A student receives a description of events and must classify them. Task: identify the Hardy Weinberg Principle violated. Event A: a flood kills 70% of a species randomly. Event B: females choose males with long tails. Event C: a new mutation produces a highly yielding maize variety. Event D: 50 refugees join a population of 1,000 people. Event A: a flood kills 70% of the species randomly. This is genetic drift. Event B: females choose males with long tails. This is non-random mating, sexual selection. Event C: a new mutation produces a high-yielding maize variety. This is mutation. Event D: 500 refugees join a population of 1,000 people. This is gene flow or migration. Each event disrupts equilibrium by altering allele frequency. Still in Hardy Weinberg Principle, let us look at exam style problem. Item 7. In a population of 2,000 individuals, 720 are recessive small a. Task: calculate Q squared, Q, P, and frequencies of capital A, and capital A, small a. Let's look at Q squared. Q squared is given by 720 divided by 2,000. And this one is going to give us 0.36. Let's calculate Q. Q is 0.6. Calculate P. P is given by 1 minus 0.6 to give us 0.4. Let's calculate the frequencies of capital A and capital A, small a. Capital A, which is P squared, is 0.16, giving us a percentage of 16%. Capital A, small a, which is represented by 2PQ, is 0.48, giving us an equivalence of 48%. And small a is 36%. Thank you very much for participating in Inheritance and Evolution Learning Outcome C. Apply Mendelian principle to predict inheritance pattern and utilize mathematical models to analyze allele frequencies and genotype distribution within a population. We have been looking at learning activity C in pairs. Learners search for Hardy Weinberg principle and factors that upset the genetic equilibrium. Make a write-up and present their findings to a class. If this has been very useful to you, please visit me at Mugabi Joshua Biology on YouTube.